Welcome back to Game 4 of Michigan versus Georgia. In case you've missed the past 3 games, Michigan started this series with a 2-0 lead. Georgia was able to get Game 3, so we're now looking at Michigan going into Game 4 with a 2-1 advantage. Michigan is the number 2 seed. Georgia is the number 7 seed, and just based on the stats from the regular season, are one of the underdogs of this tournament. So the fact that they were able to get that game on Michigan is going to be huge for them as they look to continue getting some W's here. Going into Game 4, Michigan will be starting Buzz Burton at starting pitcher. Buzz Burton is a C- starting pitcher in the regular season. Went 6 wins to 6 losses with a 3.98 ERA. And he will be pitching against Georgia, Nelly Sandman. Nelly Sandman is also a C- starting pitcher. In the regular season, Nelly went 5 wins to 5 losses and a 3.78 ERA. So 2 C- pitchers had very similar regular season stats. And we're going to have to see if Georgia can get things going here. Let's go ahead and hop on in. So here we go. We got Nicholson, who will be leading off for Georgia. And she has just been struggling. But here we go. Grubbs will be stepping in for Michigan. Nelly Sandman starts us off. That ball is slowly popped over. Nichols cuts it over there at third. Jackson Briggs so far does not have any RBIs or any home runs, but he's batting a .455 average and does have the increased locked-in mojo, which is always a nice benefit. And that is definitely gone. So there we go. That is exactly what Georgia does not want to see happen. But Briggs brings in the first run of this game for Michigan. And now Grayweather, who has had a great first 3 games, is stepping up. As a reminder, Grayweather here in the regular season was tied for second most home runs in the tournament. And is that one gone? He just hits the pole. And that is going to be home run 4 for him in this series. So he right now is averaging a home run a game. And Michigan decided to step up here in inning 1 and say, Georgia, we know that you guys got the game off of us, but we are ready to prove why we were the 2nd seed in this tournament. That ball is also popped back towards the wall, but Griffin is able to field that one. Wax Moody does have that power versus left-handed pitcher positive trait, which will come in here with Sandman pitching as he is a left-handed starting pitcher. Hard grounder, Warriors does field it. And Georgia closes the top of the first, allowing 2 home runs from Michigan. So here we go. Nicholson, who I started out talking about, has not gotten anything going. Her being able to get on base would be absolutely huge for Georgia, as she has that ridiculous speed bar, and she just gets struck out. Samantha Munster now steps up. She is having a very solid series so far. Buzz Barton has pretty even pitching bars there, and he does get a strikeout. Harry Nichols is a fire for Georgia that we really need to see him start getting some hits going just to help bolster this team a little bit. Hood fields that one, and that will get us out of the first inning. Georgia just has a number of players that have not been able to get really anything going, and for a team that struggles with hitting in general, if they could just get their players back to the averages that we saw during the regular season, they would actually be in a much better position right now. Bears going to be out one. Crane steps up. Sandman does have that lowered mojo from letting up 2 home runs in the first inning. So getting another strikeout here would hopefully reset him back to a normal mojo. This is also one of these situations where we have to be very cognizant of how high these pitch counts are. Through 4 outs, Sandman's already, this is going to be pitch 30. It's definitely not what you want. Sandman does get another strikeout though. We'll see if that resets his mojo or not. Sample more. Steps up, and yes, Sandman did get his mojo reset from that second strikeout. That ball is going to be hit with a line drive. Hang now does field it. Georgia now stepping up with their kind of key batting, and a couple of batters here who have had very solid series so far for them. Hammond got walked twice last game, so something to keep in mind in terms of his batting stats. That ball is hit. Will it land in bounds? It goes foul. It's almost caught. I'm trying to remember, is it Grayweather that plays out there in right field? It is, which is why he almost got over there in time. Briggs gets out one. So Griffin, their star batter, she has actually had a pretty solid series so far. Batting right now 400, 1 home run, 3 RBIs through 3 games. And that will be out 2. Ace Werthers, another player for Georgia that has had a good series and has been one of the reasons that they've been able to get a game off of Michigan. Let's see, does that have the distance? Michigan is right at the wall, and they catch it. Grubbs catches it at the wall, and Georgia almost had their first run there. That if that ball had about 3 more feet, I think it would have been out. Friendly for Michigan here is one of the players who has struggled for them, but the rest of the team has really lifted their batting. We're now at the top of the batting order again here for Michigan. Looks like Sandman might be pitching around him a little bit. 3 balls, 1 strike. That's going to end up in a walk, which is big because Grubbs, he only stole 12 bases in the regular season, but he has a decent speed bar, and especially when going against these slower pitchers that we see when you have like C and C minus pitchers pitching. I would not be surprised if we saw Grubbs kick off. But there we go. Michigan, another good hit. And here we go. Grayweather, an absolute superstar. He's going to watch the first pitch as a strike. Oh my gosh, is that gone again? No, it was right at the wall, and Griffin does have that nice arm. She was able to get in the third without letting a tag happen. Oh man, but I mean, Grayweather, he's had an absolutely crazy first 3 games, and almost hit another one there. We'll see. If Michigan progresses through here, Grayweather is definitely one of those players who not only could be looking at MVP of this specific series, but could be looking at like an MVP candidate for this tournament. Michigan is one of the favorites to make it through this tournament. Simone Peralta. That's it. Slow grounder Briggs over. That will be out 2. Then we have Noah Hang now, who would really like to see him be able to get another hit going. If nothing else, just get his mojo up. That is a beautiful hit just out of the reach of the first baseman, and that allows him to get on. But he is on now with Nicholson, who has struggled so far. Plus Barton right now at 34 pitches, which for potentially almost out of the 3rd inning here is a decent pitch count. We have a full set here. Nicholson fouls one off and then gets walked. Now here we go. So Munster steps up. Munster is one of the 2 players on this team with, I would say, serious home run potential, but ends up just hitting that one right crane there at second base. So Nelly Sandman, this is going to be pitch 50 for him. So we're going to need to keep an eye on how Georgia decides to use their relief pitching here. We did not see Morgan Myers last game, so Morgan Myers, who is their S-rated relief pitcher, will almost certainly be coming in this game. But the question will be, what is Michigan's lead going to be when Myers steps in? Because they're already at a 2-run lead. Michigan is leading off this inning with a player on first, 0 outs. That ball had nice power behind it, but did go foul. And let's see. That is a nicely hit ball, but Hang now is able to field it. Michigan is held to first base. It's popped over the net. Slow grounder, Werther's fields it. Munster over to Peralta, and great way for Georgia to end the top of that 4th. So here we go. Once again, Georgia is stepping up in this inning with kind of the key portion of their batting order. Slow grounder down first. I likely just get tagged here. I don't know if he got tagged or the base got hit there, but either way, out 1. Hammond, nice grounder, but Hood is able to field it. And that will be out 2. And here we go, Griffin. Griffin would love to be able to get this down to a 1-run game if she can. She's one of the players on Georgia that has the batting ability to make it happen. Almost gets hit by the pitch. It just watches strike 3. Going into the top of the 5th, Michigan has a 2-run lead. Georgia really has not been able to get anything going on their offense. But we're going to see. I have a very high suspicion that we're going to see Myers, their S relief pitcher, step in relatively soon. Sandman does have decent stamina still, but just started off with walking a batter. And we know Georgia does not want to allow anything to happen here. Trying to keep Sandman in. This could be that he's going up against Friendly. Friendly shows a bunt, but then pulls it back. And that is likely going to be caught. Munster fields that one. Now we're at the point where I'll be interested to see where they pull Myers. For Georgia, I'll be honest, if I was the one kind of playing right now, I would probably pull Sandman for Myers right now. You don't want to let them get somebody in scoring position here. And Sandman is able to get the out. Griggs had a very good series so far and already proved his abilities earlier this game. And that was a hard hit ball to Nichols there at third. Nichols was not able to field it. And here we go. Gray weather. Georgia's going to keep Sandman in. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't like this call from Georgia. Gray weather swings at 2. And he actually does get struck out. So Sandman, proving me wrong, was able to get through that inning without giving up any additional runs, which is key, right? I mean, like I said, I would have pulled Myers in, but if you can keep Myers at that lower pitch count, huge, because she's also the relief pitcher. Ball gets hit right against the wall for out 1. Buzz here, that was pitch 55, so his number of pitches is very in line with what you would want, especially from a C minus rated pitcher. Briggs just doesn't get there in time, so Georgia now has a player on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Simone Peralta gets a nice hit. Does it have... No, it didn't have the distance. I was wondering if it might have gone over the left fielder's head. But they were able to field it for out 2. And now swings at the first pitch. It's a nice hit right past the pitcher. Georgia has 2 outs, but they have a player on first and second. The issue for them is that they have Nicholson stepping up, who has struggled. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm very surprised that her mojo is not lowered right now. But we'll see if she can get something going. Good eye. That's the end of that pitch. That ball gets popped up, and that should end the inning here. And it does. So Georgia was able to get a little something going there. No additional runs, but they were able to get 2 players on. We're now going to see Sandman pitching here against Hood, who so far in this series has got a 500 average. That one doesn't have the distance to make it out, but takes a very favorable bounce to allow for a double to start things off for Michigan. Now, Georgia, bring in Myers. Nope, they're going to say, we trust Sandman to do this. For a low-scoring team, they do not want to allow Michigan to get more than a 2-run lead on them. Sandman does get 2 strikes here. That one gets fouled off. That one will also get fouled. Three balls, 2 strikes. And he gets the strikeout. Sandman is proving me wrong. I would not have kept Sandman into the past, 4 batters. But he has done very well through these 4 batters. So let's see what he does. He starts things off here with 2 strikes. Slow grounder Werther's does field it. That will get out 2. They're going to swap out Werther's. Okay, Sandman now gets pulled for Myers. And what happened here? So there was an injury. Werther's sprained his wrist on that dive at second. Let's see. The ball's caught right along the dugout. And great inning from Georgia once again. Georgia, second batting order Munster. This is a key inning for them. Michigan's going to keep in Barton. Michigan did have Precious come in, who is really their only good relief pitcher last game. But I don't think he threw that many pitches, so we might see him come in, depending on how this shakes out. The ball is popped up. Michigan Grubbs shows that he can get it, and he does. And that will get out 1 for the bottom of the 6th here. So Munster, who's over on first, did successfully steal 7 times in the regular season. Was never caught stealing. So we'll see if she potentially takes off. But Hammonds does get the strikeout. Does get struck out. So here we go. Griffin. Huge moment here for Georgia. With their best batter up. Starts things off here with 2 strikes, though. Very inside pitch, almost hit Griffin. Good eye by Griffin, being able to foul that one off. And that will end the inning for Georgia. Oh, okay, so we're now at the top of the 7th. Michigan, 8th in their batting order right now. And they have Morgan Myers, who, even though her ERA down the bottom right is absolutely nuts right now, I'll be honest, I don't remember what happened. Based on that ERA, I'm assuming she came in probably with somebody on, or 1 or 2 people on, and then let up a home run or something like that. Keep in mind, those stats you see in the bottom right are for this series, not for the regular season or anything like that. The top 2. Morgan Myers in the regular season was one of the better relief pitchers in this tournament. With 6 wins, 3 losses, had about a 3 ERA and 120 strikeouts, which was second most for any pitcher on this team. She also has a positive composed trait, but that is absolutely drilled right down the line. Griffin throws it in. So Michigan has a player on second scoring position, and Briggs here is absolutely crushing this series. So we'll see what happens. Full count. And that ball will make it through. Michigan sends them home. Here we go. And they get it. And they get on to second. That is huge for Michigan. And Grayweather is now going to step up with the player on second. Here we have the 2 S players in this series dueling it out. And Grayweather gets a nice hit, but it does drift foul. Hard grounder. Munster is able to field it. And Michigan able to get another run on the board. Georgia, again, just not a big hitting team. A 3-run deficit for them. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But here we go. Briggs gets out one. What we're going to need to keep an eye on here is Barton's pitch count. He is now at 86, which for a C- pitcher is definitely up there. And that is a beautifully hit ball. Georgia now has a player on first as Peralta steps in. And Peralta is a decent hitter for them. And right up against Barton with the limited bars now is an ideal situation. That ball is fair, but it turns. Oh, I thought it was going to turn a double play. So Georgia, Hangnow's now going to step in. Has that player over on first. Uh-oh. Is that gone or is that going to hit the high wall? It does hit the high wall, which is unlucky for them. They do send the player home, and that will result in 0.1 for Georgia. Here we go. Barton is now going to be pulled for Bailey Ray. Nicholson has someone on second, but is yet to get a hit. And gets struck out just watching it. And there we finally see her mojo get lowered. I'm surprised it took that long. I mean, that has to be at that, I don't even know, 11 or 12 for her. And yet to get a hit. So here we go. Georgia was able to lower this to a 2-run game. Myers is going to see what she can do, but as a relief pitcher, you know, she's already at 29 pitches with that one. That is a high pitch count for a relief pitcher. She gets the strikeout. I don't remember how many pitches McDowell threw. There it is. The answer is not many because he's being pulled in. He did show up last game, and you can see his stamina is already basically maxed out again. And he does have a locked in mojo as Georgia gets the strikeout for out 2. Georgia's saying, hey, you know, we know that we're in trouble here. We're going to bring in our key pitchers, keep this a 2-run game. And McDowell, I mean, that was just a dominant 2 outs. So here we go. Bottom of the 8th, Georgia, key part of their batting order here. If they're going to make a comeback here, this is the part of the batting order that they want to be able to do it. That one drifts foul. Just low. Here we go. That one's popped up, but it will likely be caught here by Grayweather. He does field that one. Third baseman, Harry Nichols. Ray, let's see what happens here. That one looks like it's going to be caught by center fielder. Friendly, and it is. I was going to say, Bailey Ray, who is the relief pitcher right now in Ford, Michigan, is their worst relief pitcher. So we'll see the Briggs fields that one. And we're going into the 9th inning. This is a 2-run game. Michigan is going to hope for the best here to extend their lead, but they do have the worst part of their batting order going up against a locked-in McDowell. So we'll see if they can get anything to happen here. That's a fair ball and a quick out 1. And that one will land. So Michigan now has a player on first, one out in top of the ninth. Dowell throws the first pitch right over the middle of the plate. Another nice strike. And very quick out there on friendly. Chandler Grubbs has been having a very solid series. And that ball, let's see, Hangnow does field it, but it's not going to be in time. I'm trying to remember, isn't Hangnow normally their center fielder? I know there was an injury earlier. Yeah, Hangnow is normally their center fielder, but and this is disastrous for Georgia. That was a hard hit grounder that made it all the way to the wall, and that's going to allow Michigan to get a 2-run additional lead. So Michigan now has a 4-run lead, and Grayweather is now up. Two balls, one strike. There are 2 outs. That was a dangerous pitch to throw to Grayweather. And there we go. Grayweather does get struck out. So Georgia, bottom of the ninth, they're going to need 4 runs, which for a team like Georgia is a very steep mountain. Michigan pulls in a different second baseman for the inning. Griffin, the best batter. Strike 3, and that is going to make this 2 outs now. They're going to have to get at least 4 runs. Slow grounder. Sawhorse fields it and does get out 2. Now we have Pacheco stepping up. Ball inside. The ball gets hit, but it does drift foul, and it does drift right into the stands. Hard hit ball. That's going to make it into the corner, but Grayweather has the speed and the arm, but that's going to be held to a single. Most other teams, we would see that result in a double, but one of the benefits of having such a great right fielder. Drew Morton is going to be pulled in here as a pinch hitter. Let's see if I have time here. Oh, he gets a nice hit. That ball does go out to Grayweather, though. So here we go. Hangnow is now stepping up. He's had a great game. He has that negative RBI dud trait, has a slow grounder, and a throwing error. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Nicholson. Oh, man. Okay, Ray gets pulled for Precious. And Nicholson needs to have the at-bat of the tournament here. So far, yet to get a hit. Slow swing there. Just inside. And Nicholson swings and just is struggling as Michigan barely squeaks out the game 3. So Michigan's now up 3 wins to 1 win from Georgia. Let's take a look here at the box score. And this box score, doesn't tell the full story. This was a very exciting final couple of innings. But in terms of MVP of this game, Riggs is an obvious candidate as he had 5 hits, 5 at-bats, 4 RBIs. So, and on top of that, also a home run. So I think it's actually probably pretty clear that that's going to be our MVP. But let's just take a quick look to see if there was anybody else here that really stands a chance. Barton came out and had a very solid 6.2 innings pitched, so he will almost certainly be on the top 3. But yeah, I think that I don't see this going to anybody besides Briggs. And yeah, Briggs, look at that stat line. That is a beautiful stat line. And then Barton comes in at second, and then Hangnail actually comes in at third. He had a very solid game, but again, Georgia just struggling to get the actual points on the board. So thank you for joining me for Game 4. I will see you guys for what will hopefully be an exciting Game 5. We will be looking at a potential elimination match. So we'll see if Georgia can turn the tides here and make a comeback in the series. I'll catch you guys there.